get politically involved is, first of all, figure out your political ideology. You need to figure out where you stand on the basic issues. And there's a lot of great polls online that you can take that will tell you what political party you lean towards. What my personal experience is I saw there was a problem. I saw that the person in my district that was running was anti-cannabis. And so I reached out to the Libertarian Party.
What did that look like? Did you email or?
I just connected through the Facebook Washington Libertarian Party Facebook page.
Facebook, huh?
Yep, and I just said, hey, what's up? My name is Chris Kelly. I'm from District 34, voted for Gary Johnson last election. I'm a Libertarian, and I want to get involved. And they invited me out to a Libertarian meeting, and I just said, well, I'm going to be a candidate. William Carnegie, Andrew Carnegie's father, says, if you want to know who's in charge, start something. And that's it. You just go out and you just do it. Act as if. I don't know what I know about politics. I learned from Ron Swanson in Parks and Recreation and, The West Wing. And so it's like a lot of it is just free form. We live in an age where all the information in the world is right here at my fingertips on the internet. I can look it up and I can figure out how to become a representative of my state.
And that's what you're trying to do.
And that's exactly what I'm doing.
Can you tell me what does it mean, act as if?
Act as if, put on the suit, come down to Olympia, look the part, speak the part, speak to your audience. I'm not talking to stoners. I'm not going to come down here with tie-dye. And I represent also my own personal business interests, as a cannabis grower.
And there's nothing wrong with being in business and politics.
No, not at all. Most politicians are. The tricky sticking point is when people aren't transparent about their interests. I'm a cannabis breeder and grower, and that's my business with Green Lion Farms and with the ACBG, the Association of Breeders and Growers. We're fighting for those rights all the time. So really the thing is to take action. It's to figure out a plan and to go for it and to say, well, I guess I'm the president of this thing, and if somebody knows better, they can come correct me. And always be open to that, open to learning new things is the big thing. Continuing your education.
I want this plant, which I believe is.
I want to ask you if you
widely available.
Earn yourself the privilege of becoming a representative of the people that you love. What can you tell me about what it will be like listening to them?
To my constituents?
Sure, yeah.
Well, the big thing for me, being a libertarian, is I'm really about free speech and personal liberty, and a lot of that means that when people don't see eye to eye with me, it's me hearing them out and really taking some critical thinking skills and putting myself in an empathetic point of view where I can understand where they're coming from. As a representative of my district, the title says it all. I represent my district. What the people of my district want is what I will be representing, even if it's against my personal political ideology. Minimum wage is a great example of that. I think minimum wage is a red herring conversation we shouldn't really have. My constituents in District 34, it's a very big deal. So that's one of those instances where I may have to put my political ideology aside and just represent my district on the issue. And that's the way politics is supposed to work. I'm supposed to represent the people that put me in office. And right now in my district, the person we put in office isn't doing pro-cannabis legislation. In a district that's run by cannabis.
Wow.
Burien, West Seattle, White Center, and Vashon Island is District 34, and that's Seattle's heaviest, part of Seattle's heaviest cannabis production, recreation, medical, and hemp. And they're all regulated by different law enforcement agencies. Part of that's unincorporated King County, part of that's Seattle Police Department, part of that is policed by the sheriff, and the big thing is that we have somebody in office who is doing nothing to remedy any of those problems.
Wow.
In our district, on Roxbury Avenue, on one side of the street, everyone has to play by the rules. On the other side of the street, it's unincorporated King County, and the rules are completely different and way more relaxed. And that's the difference between walking across a crosswalk.
Wow, it kind of sounds like they're saying it's your problem, not mine.
Right, but then whose responsibility is it?
But it really is. They're really any of their problems that, or yours rather. They've kind of agreed to take that on, right?
That's the that's the idea behind democracy.
That's
is that
what
we
I
elect
thought.
someone to protect our interests.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is ignorance as well, and we can't really fault all of the politicians on that. But we can ask them, if you don't know anything about cannabis, you probably shouldn't be putting forth cannabis bills.
Sure.
You should wait till we have cannabis politicians to do that.
When it comes to your opinions and stuff, are you afraid to be wrong?
Not at all. No, not at all. Yeah, I mean,
It's great to
Anybody
to
that's-
learn that you're wrong.
yeah. Anybody that says I'm right 100% of the time, they're lying to you. I have political ideology that can change too. I can. That's the thing about being a critical thinker, is that I can critically think about anything, including my own views.
Yeah.
I can sit down and objectively look at what's happening, and if I need to update my views on something like prohibition, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to update my views and roll with what my district wants or my constituents, whoever that is, whether that's my state or my country. Whatever position I'm going for, I'm a representative and I'm supposed to represent it, and I should change my views.
It's just like a scientist.
Yeah.
You can't go into every experiment knowing what's going to happen or thinking that you're going to be right.
Right. Absolutely. The idea in science is to be proven wrong. Here's my hypothesis, prove me wrong, right? And so that's exactly, we lost that somewhere along the way.
Yeah, we definitely proved a lot of things wrong about the mythology around cannabis.
Definitely.
Dead wrong.
Dead wrong. And as we lift prohibition and as more science can actually be done around this, like my company does, we'll be able to do way more in-depth research on the actual compounds, the interaction with our endocannabinoid system, how does CBD work with our CB2 receptors and cause apoptosis. We have the ability to find cures for leukemia, lymphoma, cures for PTSD, which we're now going to reclassify as a syndrome instead of a disorder. These are all great things moving forward. And when we see bills like HB 2149 that get put in, striking the word cannabis and throwing in a derogatory prohibition word like marijuana, you have to ask yourself where that's coming from. Cannabis is the scientific nomenclature. That's what we should be using to make laws. The American Herbal Pharmacopoeia accepted cannabis, just released a cannabis one. I bought it, $50. And it's right there. Every law that we're making from this point forward should be based and grounded in that scientific journal, peer-reviewed science, right there. And that's where we have to go with it. We have to start making common sense laws based on science and real data. And that also
Science,
comes
not
down
stigma.
to economic. Yeah. That also comes down to economic points. This is an $11.3 trillion market. It's unbelievable to me that you would leave that money on the table by limiting businesses to 750 or whatever silly number it is, right? And taxing them 75%. Why? You can do that to unlimited businesses for 35%, like any other normal industry, like the aerospace industry. We don't tax Boeing 75%. Matter of fact, let's talk about Boeing for a minute. A $9 billion bailout for 53,000 jobs? That's ridiculous. How about $0 billion for 250,000 cannabis jobs? All you have to do is, stop being a knucklehead and release prohibition, and repeal it. Not try to regulate it, but actually repeal it. I should be able to grow as many plants as I want in my house. This is America. The second that I process that into a medicine like DHO, yes, I should be regulated like any other pharma company. But if I'm just growing some plants in my house, nobody comes in and counts how many echinacea plants I have. But the second I make an essential oil from echinacea, I'm regulated like pharma, and that makes sense. And cannabis is no different. And that's where we need to get with the conversation. Cannabis isn't different. Cannabis is the #1 cash crop in our country with $40 billion of enforcement against it.
Wow.
A 20,000 acre hemp farm creates 1.1 million barrels of oil in a year. 9 hemp farms in every state is enough to match that $762 billion petroleum refinement industry. And we're not replacing petroleum. We're working side by side with our brothers and sisters in petroleum to together create a $1.4 trillion industry. And that's the key there, is what we're doing is creating new industry for our country. We're reigniting small towns across America that have lost their jobs, that don't have manufacturing. One hemp farm moves into a small town and can employ the whole town. Everything from textiles to biofuel processing, all of that can happen in middle America. And that doesn't get you high. Hemp doesn't get you high, it's textile. What we're talking about is restoring manufacturing to our country, getting ourselves out of the recession that we're still very much in, and creating new jobs where people are able to feed their families in a self-sufficient way without relying on our government. And that's what being American is about. It's about being self-sufficient, taking care of my family, regardless of what my government does. And when I don't like what my government does, I replace it.
Wow. Thanks for all your well-spoken words and information. That was really awesome. I have a lot of trust in you. I don't think that I'm allowed to vote for you, but, well, I wish you the best of luck, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.